I wouldn't want to put any more of me into Captain America. The phrasing here doesn't sound great. Nothing against labs. I love a lab. But no one's ever told me they were, I'm like a German Shepherd or something. Hi, I'm Chris Evans, and I'm getting up close with Cosmo UK. The preference between heroes and villains isn't so much about whether they are good or bad characters. It's more about their nature. You can play a hero who is internal and stoic and quiet, and you can play a villain of the same nature. It's more about whether or not that character how they express themselves. So it's really not about good or bad. It's about what your creative appetite is hungry for. And when this movie came along, I had played heroes for a while, but they happened to be heroes who were a little bit more stoic. So I was eager to play someone who was a little bit more alive. Party trick. Oh, I got a few. What's my party trick? I got a bunch. I can do it. I can make a little rib out of my... I can stack a bunch of quarters on my elbow, like a big stack, and catch them all at once. I went to a public high school. We do a lot of dumb shit. I'm not quite sure how to answer that question without being a little braggadocious. I've played Captain America for a really long time, so you obviously try to draw parallels between you and the character, and he's a really good man, but I'd like to think I'm a good man, but who knows? I'd say the longer I played Captain America, the more Captain America was put into me. Again, you play a character for so long, and you try to understand a certain way of thinking that's not your own, and you can't help but appreciate it for a long enough period of time. You can't help but recognizing the value in it and hope to see more of that character in yourself. So I wouldn't want to put any more of me into Captain America. The phrasing here doesn't sound great, but I hope you know what I mean. That might be the best question I've ever been asked. Don't know. I've had some people tell me they see me as a dog, and the type of dog they reference I take very personally, because I've had some people say lab, which I take insulting. I mean, listen, I got nothing against labs. I got nothing against I love labs. I love a lab. They're wonderful dogs. But they're kind of big, happy, dumb dogs. Again, nothing against labs. I love a lab. But no one's ever told me they were, I'm like a German Shepherd or something. Like this, unbelievable greyhound. What dog do I identify with? It's a really good question. I'd say a mutt. I wouldn't even take it to a specific breed, because the dogs that I've gravitated towards in my life typically are mutts. The advice I would give my younger self, I've given this a lot, I would say shh. And the reason I say shh is because I think it's a really applicable piece of advice. Most of our brains are noisy, and a lot of times that noise isn't terribly helpful. In our youth, we spend so much time anticipating the bad thing, and it takes us out of the moment, and that bad thing never comes. And I think the most useful thing to meet the day with is recognizing not just the usefulness of shushing your mind, but the power behind that ability. That's not a position of weakness. That's a posture of strength, being able to kind of shush your mind. So what I would have told my younger self is shh, because all those bad things you're worried about, they're not going to happen. Don't waste your time. I probably broke more than Ryan did. Ryan's a pretty disciplined actor, and he's a lot funnier than I am. So a lot of times Ryan would go off the page, and every take he would try something new, and sometimes it was just too damn funny. God, I don't even know if the good ones made it. You know, there's that one scene where he says to me, "You must be Lloyd," and I say, "What gave it away?" And the litany of responses he offered, it was never the same one twice, and each one was funnier than the last. And I'm not even going to offer it up because I won't do it anywhere near as funny as Ryan did. What resonated with me about Lloyd was a character who was so unapologetically himself. I've played a lot of heroes in the past, and nothing wrong with doing that, but oftentimes they're men of few words and a bit taciturn, and sometimes villains are a little more unapologetic and liberated and free and verbal, and it's fun to explore that variety as an actor. You try to do as many of your own stunts as you can. You know, sometimes you're just not going to be as good as the stunt man, but every actor's goal is to try and suit up as often as you can and get your hands dirty and get the bumps and bruises and feel like you earned your paycheck. Yeah, well, the mustache is, part of character building. I imagine you try to picture who the character is when they're at home. How do they wake up? How do they start their day? What's their apartment like? And I imagine Lloyd to be a bit of a minimalist. You picture his day being one of a very quotidian regimen of, making his bed and his coffee and trimming the mustache and doing his hair and his nice clothes, these very exacting patterns of someone who's so wild and uninhibited but still has an incredibly regimented, personal approach to his own appearance, which I thought was just kind of fun. Well, working with people I know. I got to work with the Russos again, so I'd say my favorite memory of the movie is cultivating these relationships that had happened prior to the beginning of filming. Obviously, I know the Russos and a lot of the crew, our first AD and the stunt department, and a lot of familiar faces, a lot of Marvel characters on this set. Plus Anna, there's a lot of people that I'd worked with in the past that I was eager to see again. Thank you for watching me getting up close with Cosmo UK.